Welcome back to Doing Bart Things, and today I got a little bit of downer video for you guys. Sorry. Um, Nvidia has had rumor mill leak about their pricing. This is from Moore's Law is Dead, about the 5000 series. I'm also going to cover a little bit of the, I think, pricing of the current kind of graphics cards out there to give you an idea of the situation. Um, I can tell you today, I was sort of looking forward to maybe seeing what the 5000 series was like. I thought that there was a shot at them pricing the 5080 around $1,000 because I was hoping they'd learn something from the 4080 and that debacle. Nvidia has learned nothing. They don't care. I mean, they didn't care then. They don't care now. $1,200 to $1,500 for a 5080 is a complete just lulls. They're going to give you 4090 performance for a 4090 price. Like, I would ignore that entirely. I wasn't going to buy a 4090 because of the price to begin with, and I'm not going to buy a 5080 because of the price. Like, that's that. The 5090 is so insane that, I mean, forget about it. The 5070 is ridiculous. It's a 4070 Ti for $700. That's what it is. And I didn't like the 4070 Ti when they came out, and I don't like this. So there you go. This whole lineup, I'm just going to ignore Nvidia as a video card maker altogether. If these prices are if these prices come to fruition, I will just keep on with my 3080. I'll look at what AMD has, and that's it. Like this, we're not entertaining these kind of prices. I'm not saying I'm going to discourage someone if they really want to buy one of these cards. I would be happy for them to get one. Hell, maybe I'll get to build a machine with it, for somebody else. That's awesome. But I'm not going to pay that much for my personal rig for these segments. Not doing it. I don't care if I end up just playing my Steam Deck all the time. Like, I'm not. I have 5 people to feed. We have a house to pay for. My kids in band. Like, no, absolutely not. This is ridiculous. I was kind of thinking that 1100 to 1000 to 1100 for the 5080 would be kind of that, where they could pull some more people in to buy that 80 series card because they could make a case that, hey, it's 4090 performance for a little bit less money. There you go. This is not a little bit less money. This is just basically the same amount of money for that level of performance. We gained nothing from a price to performance standpoint, which is what you would expect from a generational improvement. It's not a generational improvement if the price is still the same. It's just the same performance for the same amount of money. There is no uplift there. There's an uplift you can show on a chart, but it all goes away when you put the price next to it. It doesn't matter. It makes no sense to me. The 5090 is the Halo product, and I get its large price. Still, that's too much, but I get its large price. Like, I'm not going to buy one just because you're competing against my wallet. My wallet's going to win, because I want to feed myself. And then kind of the same thing with the 5080. And again, even if I had the money, I would be really hard pressed to go buy one of these cards because I don't think it's necessary. It almost becomes kind of the principle of the thing a little bit. And frankly, these cards are going to take a lot of power. The 5090 is supposed to be a 600 watt possible card. We were blowing up 4090 plugs this last time with 450 watts. Thankfully, the 5080 is rated at about 400 watts, so I'm hopeful that kind of problem maybe isn't there. But I mean, I don't know. It's just, that's used car money that's going into these things, and I'm just going to keep rolling right along my 3080. I will look at what AMD has to offer. They are claiming that RDNA 4 is not going to have a top end SKU like it should have, but the lower end SKUs are looking really strong. So expect something in that $500 to $600 range probably. That will have 16 gigs of VRAM, not 12. Looking at you, 5070, and I think it'll easily beat a 5070. Easily, I think that if that's its performance level around that 4070 Ti level, then an 8000 series GPU that is comparable to a 4080 will logically win. And AMD should do well with that GPU, right? They got to keep the pricing right, which I think they will, because it's not a high end SKU, so they don't have to charge very much for it. And you know, I don't think Nvidia cares at this point. I think they're just gonna let that ride. And how sad is that? That we're at a point now where there's nothing out there to roll against these higher end cards except our wallets. And I think level heads should prevail and our wallets should win. I hope that anybody that bought a 4090, you just keep right on rolling with that 4090. I hope that these things rot on the shelves because that's just too much money. I do believe, again, if somebody buys it, I'm not going to besmirch them. I'm going to be happy for them. You know, maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe everybody wants this and they're going to pay out the nose. What I'm saying is the uplift in performance, the only place where we got really the largest uplift is the 5090. And the 5090 is getting also the same uplift to its price. It could be $1,000 more than a 4090 for 50-60% more performance roughly. I guarantee you it's not going to be double. They're not going to double the performance of a 4090 when you factor in everything and the totality and you start doing actual benchmarks. Just because you have double the capacity doesn't give you double the performance. You have a certain overhead there. There's a diminishing return that comes to play. There's a lot to do with it. So I think that's kind of where this is going to land ultimately. And like you can see here, if this is true, you're going to get upwards of $2,500. And you know, if Nvidia charges that much for a Founders card, what do you think the Asus ROG will cost? It'll be a $3,000 card. I guarantee it. If it's $2,500 for the Founders, $3,000 for the ROG, and it's going to be 15 foot long. You'll have to have multiple sag brackets. Like it's going to be insanity. That card will. These are probably going to have to come with AIOs because the 5090 is rated for 600 watts or something. So yeah, it's going to be crazy. And the 5090 I sort of ignore a little bit anyway because while I would love to build somebody's machine with one, that would be awesome. It's not for me. The 5080 is not for me. The 5070 is not for me. Not at that price. In performance, I can already tell you, like from this, nope, giant nope, not for me. And if someone just says they want it, I will be happily like, good for you, go get it. Let's see what it'll do. That's awesome. If they come to me asking me for advice, I'd be like, this is all overpriced, and I wouldn't recommend it because of that. You know, then they may say, well, I've got the money. Cool, go for it. But yeah, I'm not gonna tell somebody they should go do this because that's ridiculous. Anyway, okay, badmouth that for like what, 9 minutes. We'll move on to something else. The price on 7900 XTXs is okay. It's all right. AMD really needs to just drop these things down to $799 and get them moving, but they're not for whatever reason. It's really strange to me. The other card from Nvidia that is kind of in the sweet spot now, or was, Yeah, so here's one for 769, so that's not bad. The 4070 Ti Super is another one to kind of keep an eye on. Right at this moment, those are probably the two high-end cards that I would sort of keep an eye on. For mid-range, the um, well, lower mid-range, okay, the 7700 XT. I don't see it right here, but there were some deals that had it around that $350 price range. Solid GPU if you can find it in that price range. But I think that the 7700, the 7800, the 7900 XT, the 7600 XT, like these cards, these are the ones that are going to get 100% replaced. Well, actually, they're all going to get replaced. Let me rephrase that. By the RDNA 4 cards when they come out. And I think that that's going to be kind of soon. I think we get an announcement at CES, probably. Because even though they're pretty overstocked in the 7000 series cards, they're going to have to make that announcement. Because what they don't want to do is have all of these cards leave all the channels and then nothing left to sell, basically. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking. The 7900 XT, yeah, like 644, probably the best, some of the better prices. You put in a code here for $20. So that's not bad. And not quite as good a deal, but like I said, the 4070 Ti Super. What's a 4080 Super looking like right now? Yeah, still $1,000. I wouldn't touch it. Not now. Yeah, going up even. So yeah, the 4000 series basically is end of production. We're going to get 5000 series announcement from everything that's been said at CES, which is the beginning of next year. We have the rumor mill on what their prices look like. The prices alone are enough for me to tell you to skip, honestly. Just what's the point of this exactly? I mean, yeah, I'll deal with an AMD card. I don't think their drivers are that bad, not compared to this. And then save some money so that way I can buy food and pay mortgage is kind of what I'm thinking. If they, if they do this, if they come out with a 5070 Ti, like let's say these prices are real, okay? Say they're real. They're on the somewhat lower end, so say $2,000 for the 5090 and $1,200 for the 5080. Let's just say that. If they come out with a 5070 Ti that is kind of like the Ti Super, so it'd be the cut down 5080, at least a GB203, and they priced it for $800, $900, maybe. But then again, we're kind of getting to that same, situation of what we had last generation, right? So I don't know. I don't like any of this. I just don't. I think the 5080 should be no more than $1,000. The 5090, charge $2,000 for it if you want. Like, sure, whatever. There's going to be those people that'll buy that. That's fine, but too much. The physical situation on the ground today is Nvidia cards are pretty up there because they're restricting supply. They basically have stopped producing the 4000 series, the upper 4000 series of cards, and the same thing is starting to happen with the 7000 series Radeon cards. What's the 7800 XT look like? Okay, not horrible. $450 is not horrible. So you could get your hands on 7800 XT reasonably. What about the GRE? Some of the GREs are coming down. 540 for the GRE is not bad. So I would say some of the mid-range cards you can probably find some deals. But the XTX, I think we're just about to the point where either AMD is going to have to announce an official price cut or something in order to get these things sold for the 8000 series. And I get it, they probably don't want to do that, but yeah, like I mean, video card sales are dying right now because people know new stuff is coming. So figure it out. Bring people into this market, into the upper end market who normally would not afford an upper end card, which will get those cards to sell, get them out of the chain, and then you can move on. Like that's what's got to happen. I don't know why they're not just doing it. So anyway, everybody, hope that video is informative. Leave a like if you would, maybe a subscribe, heaven forbid. If you would like me to see, if you'd like me to cover, see me cover something else and talk about something else, let me know. Otherwise, please have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next one.